Good evening. This is Brooks Compton, Mayor of the City of Centerville, and we've just completed our fifth meeting of the year, our March 21, 2016 meeting. This presentation is just a summary of what took place during the course of our meeting, and if you'd like to follow the full presentation, it will be on the MVCC site within the next day or so. We had initially, the invocation was given by Pastor Milton Berger from the Centerville United Methodist Church, and we were led in a Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by the Girl Scouts from Troop 30584 and Troop 30852. Joanne Morale was unable to be here this evening. She's visiting family members, so the rest of the council was here this evening. We introduced our new clerk of council, Karen Andrews. She joined the city at the latter part of February as our new clerk of council. Debbie James, as you know, has moved to Indianapolis. Karen's been doing a great job. We're really pleased to have her. We had one item of communication. We granted a leave of absence from one of the city committees to Alan Nelson, who will be out just on a temporary basis from his committee service. We had the opportunity to award Girl Scout Gold Awards this evening. They received which is the highest honor for the Girl Scouts, is the Gold Award. They received these awards at a ceremony in February down at the Schuster Center, but we recognized them tonight. And I just wanted to mention briefly Alexandra Bilecki. She's a junior at Centerville, and she created a yoga instruction program, which she has taken to not only the high school, but the middle school and elementary schools, and has had great success with that program. She did a lot of work in that, and it was certainly well to be recognized by council tonight. Corinna Lakes also received a Girl Scout Gold Award, and she received recognition tonight by City Council. She prepared a soccer program for incoming freshmen to the city of Centerville, high school soccer team. And what she did was try to incorporate those new members more easily into the upperclassmen, the sophomores, the juniors, and the seniors with the soccer program. It's been a very successful program, which other schools are now likely to implement, and the boys soccer program at the Centerville High School is going to follow her suggestion and implement that program, which Corinna put together. We also recognized tonight by certificate of appreciation the girls from Scout Troop 30584 and Scout Troop 30852, who put together a program over at the Centerville Garden Center for recycling of old plants and materials that were used, essentially to help next year for the soil implementation to make it better next year for all the gardeners over at the Centerville Municipal Lot. They spent approximately 300 hours putting this program together by designing it, building it, implementing it, available for that all Centerville residents in the garden program will have an opportunity to use this. In the official reports, during the mayor's report, Greg Horn, as our city manager, recognized Werner Boehm as he's retiring after 30 years with the Public Works Department. Werner has been extremely successful over the years at taking apart equipment, utilizing all the parts of equipment, fixing them, putting them back on the road again, as he maintains well over 100 vehicles for the city of Centerville and does a tremendous job. They kiddingly have one truck over there, which they call a transformer truck, that it has about 6 or 7 different uses, and Werner put all those uses together, and he will be greatly missed as a 30-year employee of the Public Works Department. They're going to have a send-off for him next Wednesday. We also had a proclamation designating the month of April to be Fair Housing Month in the city of Centerville. Council member reports consisted of John Beals, spoke a little bit about his involvement with Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, where he is the vice president for Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, a very important position with for the city of Centerville to have that representation on the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission. We also discussed that on April 12, there will be Coffee with a Cop at Bill's Donuts from 9 to 11, and we then went into community calendar with Kristen Gottman, which led then to the report of the Planning Commission, which was an item that was previously tabled, and that is the preliminary development plan for the villas of Centerville, known primarily around here as Chardonnay Village. And the applicant, Raj Grande, asked that this item be removed off the table, and it was. Council had an opportunity to ask questions not only of the applicant, Mr. Grande, but also of individuals who wanted an opportunity to address council on this item. Mr. Springer did, and he raised some objections to the items included in the preliminary development plan. But after extensive discussion with Mr. Rodney and among council, that item was approved, and the preliminary development plan was granted so that Mr. Grande could go forward, subject to 16 conditions placed on the preliminary development plan. We received a report from the Bicycle Committee that John Beals, Mark Engert, and Joanne Rao had with the local Bike Centerville Committee, and they discussed some of the ideas that they had with respect to improving bicycle ways throughout the city of Centerville. On the consent agenda, we had all items were approved under the consent agenda, and they primarily dealt with various aspects of approving purchases for the city of Centerville with respect to, and then also dealt with items for the pay ordinance. Some adjustments were made in the pay ordinance to identify a new position of deputy city manager and human resources manager, and to eliminate a couple items of pay grade which are no longer used by the city of Centerville. Included in the fee agenda, in the consent agenda, was an item that addressed setting for a public hearing items with respect to the food truck, specifically dealing with a reduction from $200 to $50 for the annual fee. After the consent agenda was approved, included in that agenda was the appointment of several new members to boards. One was Carol Adams as a member of the City Beautiful Commission, and reappointments were made to other commissions. James Durham as a member of the Planning Commission, Jan Prettyman as chair of the City Beautiful Commission, and Jim Briggs as a member of the Community Reinvestment Area Housing Council for an additional 3 years. Council then went on to new business, and there were just a couple items of new business as there were no citizens' comments or petitions brought to council attention. So during the course of new business, we addressed an emergency ordinance which is necessary with the new Cabela's that's coming into a town with respect to discharging of firearms in a very limited manner inside their store. And this dealt with bow and arrow, not firearms. And that was passed to allow them on a temporary basis until the full ordinance is approved, the right within a very limited fashion in Cabela's for the discharge of bow and arrow. And then the second item under new business was an emergency ordinance to amend the mobile food truck vendor license fee, reducing that on an emergency basis so that the Heart of Centerville can go forward on their food truck Fridays, to reduce that from $200 to $50 on an annual basis. We had no other items that came before council. Just as a reminder, the city of Centerville has many communication opportunities. I just want to mention that you can gain through electronic newsletters, Centerville Connection, Centerville Commerce, which is a quarterly business news and information newsletter, the Town Crier, which is also mailed, but you can get that, an electronic version. That features city news and events, a lot of items that are taking place in the city. Cornerstone Connections, which is also an electronic newsletter. That's update on construction, road improvements with respect to the Cornerstone of Centerville project at Wilmington Pike and I-675. There's the Arts Communication News, which features arts, news, and events, and probably the summer concert series. And then there's Yankee Trace News, which features all the golf and dining specials, and also is a link, I think, to the Yankee Trace golf site, so that you can get all the updates with respect to Yankee Trace. Then you can also visit the City of Centerville and get through Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, sign up through that through the CentervilleOhio.gov, and that will allow you an opportunity to get all the information that's taking place in the City of Centerville. And if you'd like to just send your name in and possibly your email address, we'll be able to get you signed up for these things if you're not able to take care of it yourself. So we'd like to keep you informed as to what's going on. There's a lot of opportunities to know what's going on in the city of Centerville, so please take advantage of it. We'd like to hear from you. Thank you very much.